Welcome back to Forever Sergeant Reed's Old Shit. And we are back with some more from Tahotep and his teachings. Although it's not really his teachings, as we found out last time, it is actually just teachings that he says is kind of like ancient wisdom. So you can kind of think of this as like Egyptian proverbs, right, that have been passed down. At this time, it's kind of interesting that 43, almost 4,400 years ago, he's talking about ancient wisdom. That's kind of wild, isn't it? Alrighty. So if I am correct, which may or may not be the case, let's see. I believe we left off at number 26. So let's just get right into it. All right. Do not repeat slander and do not listen to it. It is the result of the hot-headed. Repeat a word after seeing, not heard entirely skewed. See what is before you is fine knowledge. When a levy is decreed to take place, the one who made to exact it is hated by law. Slander is like a moment of dreaming. See what is the remedy for the dream. Concealment. Slander. So, talking crap, right? Don't talk badly about people. Don't repeat it and don't listen to it. Don't gossip. It's the result of the hot-headed, right? So people with little quick tempers, they're the ones that do this. So don't be that way. Pretty simple, right? The next one. If you are a man of excellence, sitting in the council of his master, rally every heart to excellence. Your silence is more benefit than creeping talk. You should say what you know how to explain. There are artists of words in the council. Speaking is more difficult than any labor. The one who can explain is the one who makes it work. So this is kind of interesting. So to me, this is the idea of if you are in a council, give your advice and give it well. It's interesting that in most of the ancient times, people were often schooled in rhetoric. So people who could speak, especially to others, and could convince others of their position were highly sought after, and it was actually something that you learned to do. So you have famous orators, right? Speakers like Cicero in Rome, and that sort of thing. So this here is saying that there are artists of words in the council, right? So there are people who know how to persuade and know how to turn a phrase, and you should be one of those people. If you are powerful in causing respect for you by knowledge, by calming in speech, do not order people except by the guidelines. The aggressive man ends up in trouble. Do not have your heart too high, or it will be brought down. Do not stay silent if it makes you stumble. When you answer the speech of a fiery man, distance your sight, restrain yourself. The spear of a hothead flies past, but a fine mover has his path soothed. A man who worries all day long will never be allowed a good moment. A man who lazes all day long will never have a solid house. A shot filled is like an oar abandoned on the ground. When another is taken, his heart has obeyed the wish, if only I had. So, stay calm, right? Hot-headed people, the aggressive man ends up in trouble, right? Do not have your heart too high. In any instance in which I have responded, and I've done a good job, both as military police or as hospital security, is when I kept my head about myself and remained calm and remained in charge and let the people who are angry do whatever they want because you are in charge, and everyone around will see that and will react accordingly to you. Let's see what else we got here. A man who worries all day long will never be allowed a good moment. A man who lazes all day long will never have a solid house, right? So also in your actions. So be calm, be considerate, be deliberate. And don't delay, right? Do what you're supposed to be doing. Do not block the moment of a great man. Do not constrain the desire of one who is laden down. Barriers from him arise against the one who disputes with him. There is release for the cause with the one who shows love for him. This is the gift of sustenance. This and the God, what he loves is action for him. When the face is turned back to you after a storm, there follows peace before his ka, and barriers before the enemy. Planting love brings sustenance. Woo. Words are hard sometimes. So do not block the moment of a great man, right? So if there's someone who I think of in Rome, right? Julius Caesar, certainly Genghis Khan, Napoleon, right? If a great man is going this direction, he's going to keep on going. And if you want to get in his way, then you're probably going to get steamrolled, right? Choose your battles. Instruct the great in what is useful for him. Foster his image in the sight of people. Cause his wisdom to fall in front of his Lord. And there may be a reward for you before his ka. The stomach of the loved will be content. Your back will be clothed by it. His image will be over you for the life of your house. Your noble, the one you love, he is alive by it. When he makes a good gesture, do not be silent. This is indeed the guarantee of your love in the body of those who love you. See, it is the ka that loves to listen. So, give good advice, right? Foster his image in the sight of people, so support the leaders. Cause wisdom to fall in front of him, right? So you make sure you're giving good advice, and there will be rewards. So be a good advisor. If you play the son of a man of a council, a messenger for pleasing the multitude, select the fringes of action in speaking. Do not take sides. In case he speaks his opinion, officials, he sets the case on that side, and your mistake is turned into judgment. So just always be careful in what you say. This kind of oftentimes is shown in politics, where politicians do not want to give a direct answer. They don't want to give a specific side, so they make general statements like, I'm for freedom. Great, what the heck does that mean? Right? But you can't really get angry at it other than just being kind of verbally evasive and not answering questions. But it also allows you to later on define what you meant when you said that. So it gives you agility. If you show mercy on a past failure, incline to a man for his virtue. Pass over him, do not recall it, since he might stay silent for you on day one. So you've shown mercy to someone. Don't remind him a bunch, right? Since he might stay silent for you, right? If you're continuing going like, hey, you remember that thing that I did for you? Eventually someone's going to be like, listen, man, yes, I remember, but like, move on, right? So show mercy, but don't remind everyone of it. If you are rich after your impoverishment and acquire property after lack of it in the city that you have known, with awareness of what happened to you before, do not place your trust in your wealth. It came to you by the gifts of the God. So you will not be behind another like you, but the same could happen to him. So you became impoverished at some point, you became poor, and then now you have gained money back. So now you are rich after being poor. Don't place your trust in your wealth, right? So you think of like the Great Depression in the United States, right? Oh, I made a bunch of money off the stock market. Oh, and then it gets crushed. And then now maybe I made a bunch of money back. Don't put your trust in that wealth. Put your trust in yourself, not the wealth. The wealth is not what is going to help you. You are what is going to help you, whether you're poor or wealthy. Bend your back to your superior. The overseer of the king's domain and your house will be fixed on its goods, your rewards in their place. The man who struggles with the superior is an irritant. You live as long as the superior is pleased with you. The shoulder is not injured by being exposed. Do not seize the house of neighbors. Do not suppress anything close to you. It gives no results in anything. Let him not speak ill of you before you have heard. A troublemaker is a man with no mind. Whoever is known as a quarreler, there is trouble for the struggler in places near to him. So if you're constantly causing problems, constantly talking to the council, right, the folks who outrank you, your superiors, um, you're an irritant, right? You bug the heck out of me, and now I'm going to squash you like a bug, right? You live as long as the superior is pleased with you. So you may want to just like calm down. Um, Also, don't go after like your neighbor's stuff, right? So do not suppress anything close to you. A troublemaker is a man with no mind. Treat people the right way. There is trouble for the struggler in places near to him. Treat people the right way. This is an interesting one. This is going to get a little places where you may not have guessed this was going to go. Do not have sex with a child woman. When you knew the approach of the water of its chest, there is no cooling what it is in his body. Do not go mad on making the approach. He is cool after damaging his heart. Sexual immorality, right? Behave appropriately and do not, even 4,300 years ago, don't force yourself on children. If you seek out the character of a friend, do not make your own inquiries. Go direct to him. Make the case with him alone to avoid suffering in this matter. Debate with him after a period of time and try his heart in the matter of the case. If what he has seen come out through him, and he does not the matter that angers you about him, or that makes him a friend, do not seize the sight. Be collected. Do not deluge him with words. Do not reply with a slight. Do not react against him by destroying him. His moment cannot fail to come. No one can escape from what is fated for him. So if you are concerned maybe for the character of a friend, go directly to him. Don't engage in gossip. Don't try to go around and find out what is going on. Just go straight directly to him. Debate with him after a period of time, right? Don't make a slight. Be collected. Do not deluge him with words, right? So I'm just going to ask you. I'm not going to make a big, long monologue and then expect you to reply. No, just ask questions and listen to the responses and go directly to him. If you have a quarrel with a friend, you should go to your friend and talk to them and listen. Crazy. 4,300 years ago. Let your face be bright as long as you live. Whoever leaves the store cannot enter. It is the bread of sharing that causes envy. A man with an empty stomach is a man to complain. The opponent is born out of impoverishment. Do not make him into someone to approach you. Favor is the memory of a man in the years after ruin. Right? So, what we want is to To be square in your dealings, essentially, right? Favor is the memory of a man in the years after ruin. So be square in your dealings. Know your plumage, and your property will last. Do not be mean in your character towards your friends. They are his river field when it floods, more important than his riches. They are the property of one for another. The quality of a son of someone is good for him. Good character will be remembered. Good character, right? So no matter how rich you are, no matter how much stuff you have, no matter how much power and wealth you have, it is your character that is likely to be remembered. So conduct yourself appropriately. Wild. Yeah. Do not be mean in your character towards your friends, right? Like you should treat your friends well. Kind of odd that we have to tell people that. Punish from the head, teach by character. The force against a criminal will be a model example in any instance except for results. Is what makes a moaner turn into an active opponent. The force against a criminal will be a model example. Interesting. So be careful on how you punish, right? So punish from the head, teach by character. So think about your punishments. Teach based upon your character towards other people, what you want them to do. Don't just crush people. This one's a little interesting with the translation. If you marry a good time girl, a joyful woman known to her town, if she is wayward and revels in the moment, do not reject her, but instead let her enjoy. Joyfulness is what marks calm water. A good time girl. So this would be someone who is a social butterfly, likes to go to the parties, likes to hang out and have a good time and get around, as we would say, right? Do not reject her, but instead let her enjoy. Interesting. If you heed these things that I have told you, all your conduct will move forward. They're holding true. That is their wealth. The memory of them moves in the mouth of people. From the excellence of their phrasing, when every saying has been brought, it does not perish in this land forever. Doing it is a matter for goodness. The words of the officials follow it. It is the teaching of a man to speak to posterity. Hearing it, he becomes an attentive craftsman. It is good to speak to posterity, for it will hear it. If their good cases arise from the one who is superior, he will be eternally effective. All his wisdom will last forever. The wise man nourishes his soul by establishing his goodness with it on earth. The wise man is famed for what he has learned. It is the official who, after good conduct, from his action of his heart and his tongue, his lips are reliable when he is speaking, and his eyes in seeing. His ears intent in hearing what is useful for his son. Who does what is right is free from falsehood. So this is kind of one of the last ones written, and this is basically saying, heed all the things that I told you, right? So remember these things and do them because it will be good for you and posterity. It will be good for your legacy. Hearing is good for a son who hears. Hearing enters into the hearer. The hearer becomes one who is heard. Well, thank you for all that. It's very enlightening. Hearing is good as speech is good. The hearer is the master of what is useful. Hearing is good for the hearer. Hearing is better than any other thing. Love of good comes into being. How beautiful it is when a son receives what his father says. Old age is achieved for him by it. The hearer is one whom the God loves. The one whom God hates does not hear. The heart of the creator is the heart is the creator of its master. Do not hear from the one who does not hear. A man's heart is his life, prosperity, and health. It is the hearer who hears the speaker. The one who acts according to what is said is the one who loves hearing. How good when a son listens to his father. How joyful is the one to whom this is said. A son who is handsome is a hearing lord. The hearer to whom it is said is effective in the body. Memory of him is in the mouth of the people, those who are on earth and those who will be. So it's good to listen. It's good to understand what is being said. It's good to live by that understanding. How beautiful when it is when a son receives what his father says, right? Old age is achieved for him by it. A man's heart is his life, prosperity, and health. So if your heart is in the right direction, if you have listened to the advice given on this, then you will have a good posterity. People will remember you, both the people who are here now and their descendants. If the son of someone receives what his father says, there can be no wavering for any of his plans. Instruct your son to be a good hearer, who will be excellent in the hearts of the officials, guiding his mouth according to what he has been told, seen as a hearer. The son who excels, his steps are distinguished. There is no straight way in for the one who fails to hear. The mourning of the wise man will be his security, while the fool is pressed down. It's kind of reiterating and emphasizing that, listen to good advice, do what that advice is, and you will excel. As for the fool unable to hear, nothing can ever be done for him. He sees wisdom as ignorance, and what is good as what is painful. He commits every error, to be accused of it each day. He lives on what one dies of. Corrupt speech is his food. His character in this is well known to the officials, saying living death each day. His faults are passed over from the sheer number of faults on him each day. If you're not listening, if you're not taking the advice, if you're not doing what the advice says, it's going to be painful, right? You commit all these errors when you should not. A son who hears is a follower of Horus. You can look him up. He is an Egyptian god. It is good for him after he hears. In his old age, he achieves revered status. He can tell the same to his children, renewing the teaching of his father. Every man teaches by his deeds. He tells on to the children, and they can tell their children. Show character. Do not pass on your weaknesses. Securing what is right is the life of your children. As for the principal who arrives with wrongdoing, people say what they see. That is exactly how a man is. To say to those who will hear, that is exactly how a man is too. There everyone sees, and the multitude is pacified. There is no profit in riches without them. Do not remove a word, do not add it, do not put one in place of another. Fight against opening up the bonds on you. Guard against a man of experience, saying, listen up if you wish to be secure in the mouth of those who hear. Speak up when you have penetrated the case of the craftsman. You speak at the case of closure, and all your plans will fall into place. So again, son who hears is a follower of Horus, right? So kind of homage to that god as an ideal to follow, and that just as I am teaching you these things, you should be teaching your children these things, and the best way that you teach is by your deeds. People learn most by watching than they do by hearing. So if you say don't lie and then you lie, You have taught your children to lie. No matter what you say, they will learn from your deeds. So be aware of your behavior and don't shy away from your weaknesses. Approach them. We all have weaknesses. We know what they are. Hopefully. If you don't, I'm sure someone will let you know. Don't shy away from them. Be honest with them. Acknowledge them. And then find ways to try to mitigate them. That's called integrity. Flood your heart. Restrain your mouth. Then your plans will be among the officials. Be straight in character before your Lord. Do as he has said. That is the Son. So those who hear it say, indeed, favor gave birth to him. Say things of distinction, so the officials who hear may say, how perfect is the issue of his mouth. Flood your heart and restrain your mouth. Think before you speak. That's hard for some of us to do, right? Be straight in character, right? Do as he said. Say things of distinction. Don't just say a bunch of nonsense. Say things that matter. This is the last one. We've come to the end. Do as your master has said for you. How good is one instructed by his father when he emerged from him out of his body? And he told him, while he was in the body entirely, may what he has done be greater than what he was told. See, a good son, by the gift of the God, surpassing what he was told before his Lord. He does what is right. His heart has acted according to his set steps. As you reach me, your body intact, the king, content with everything, take years of life. What I have done on this earth is not little. I took 110 years of life by the grant of the king to me, favor ahead of the ancestors from doing what is right for the king until the stage of revered status. This is its completion from beginning to end as found in writing. So again, from this papyrus that we do have, this is kind of the scribal note of saying, "Hey, this is all of it. This is all we got." So this is its completion from beginning to end as found in writing. So this scribe was going off of another written manuscript of what they had, or maybe a few different ones, and is basically just saying, "Hey, that's it. That's all we got." So there is a lot of interesting things in this set of sayings, the teachings of Ptahhotep. I think it is instructive to think about how, again, not to beat this dead horse into the ground, that almost 4,400 years ago, this was ancient knowledge, and this was deemed so important by essentially the mayor of the major city who oversaw this city for the pharaoh, for him to pass this group of teachings on to his son, who is going to replace him as that leader. He wanted to make sure that the people of the city were in good hands and that his son would do right, both for the family name, I'm sure, but also for posterity, right? So for his own sake, not just for others, but for your own sake. And I find almost every single one of those is applicable to nowadays, right? When you're at an official function, you should behave in accordance with the established norms and guidelines. You should remain calm. You should not gossip. You should not be hot-headed. You should not lord over people just because you have gotten wealth and they have not. You should not depend on your wealth. You should depend on yourself. You should confront people directly when you have a problem with them. You wildly, right, that they put it down in writing. You should not have sexual relations with children. My goodness. Uh, I don't even know what else to say about that, right? Just don't do this, right? This is not seen as something that a good person would do. Same thing with telling the truth. Same thing with keeping your calm. Same thing with your word is your bond, right? All of these things that we've probably heard or been told or certainly have experienced within our cultures. And this is a guy who believes in many gods, is living a very different life than most of us lived, is living in a somewhat urban life, but almost 4,400 years ago, in a completely different culture, in a completely different time frame. No iPods, no technologies of information, really. And yet they are almost universal when I think about it, across cultures, across time. And being a little bit older myself, I just love the first part where he talks about old age and the ailments he's got. And interesting to think about, too, that even, I think, what was it, 1800 was the papyrus. So you're talking about 500 years ago. So the United States is 250 years old right now. So think of 500 years ago. That is anyone? 1500s. That is just past the age of Columbus. From us till then. And that would be about how far in time this papyrus was from these teachings. So someone 500 years later thought that it was important enough to pay a scribe to make this artistic rendering of these teachings and then be buried with it. Obviously felt very highly of this, obviously felt this was very important, and wanted it with him with the idea of having it in the afterlife. That's pretty intense, pretty impressive. And then, of course, when you think about Ptahhotep talking about this as ancient teachings, even back then, think about just how long this kind of idea, these kinds of ideas of common sense, of common decency, of mind your manners, and treat people the right way, even when you are in positions of strength, is interesting that we have to keep learning these lessons. It is a note to me that as much as we have improved technologically, as much as we have improved with information and with human lifespan, we're still dealing absolutely very much with the same human emotions, with the same human tendencies, and with the same advice often. So with that, I leave you to think about those things. Of course, we have next week. Next week, we will begin our next selection. We're going to move forward in time. I've kind of thought about this, and I kind of want to just do a survey of a bunch of different timelines and places. And so we're going to be jumping all around. Of course, if there's something that you are interested in, you can email me. The email is on the YouTube channel. It is Forever Sergeant USAF at Gmail. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on rolling with whatever crosses my weird brain. Next, we are going to start an interesting situation. So, we are going to be reading through the transcript of the trial of Miss Jeanne of Arc. So, this was a trial that happened, if I remember correctly, in the 1100s. Off the top of my brain. All of these are off the cuff. I do one take. So, you get to see all of the mistakes and all of the humanity that is me. That is by design. I know it's not as slick as other people would like, but hey, this is what you got. So we're going to see exactly what that trial of Miss of Arc looked like. Pretty wild. A teenage French woman put on trial by the English during the 100 Years' Wars. Pretty crazy that we actually have essentially the transcript of the trial. It'll be a wild one. Till then, as always, be excellent to each other, and we'll see you then.